All right, and then just like that, we are live.
Look at that.
Oh my god, your face shrunk for like half a second. It was terrifying.
Wait, what? Oh, there we go. Look how cool that is. Like when I have the white screen,
Yeah, it makes a world of a difference. The
that's
lighting is
huge, man.
insane, yeah.
I'm trying to go to the live thing. Here. If I make this small, there we go. Oh, that's weird. I make this small, there we go. Oh, there we go. I can hear the YouTube chat, which still has that delay.
Well, yeah, it's the internet.
So how's everything going? We skipped last week.
We did. I had to pick up Nori's parents, my fiance, from the airport. They came back from Albania, so not really a whole lot of wiggle room there, unfortunately. So, but
So we're gonna go 0 and 1. So I'm winning so far. I don't know if that's right. 1 or 0 or 0 and 1. So I'm winning so far. I have not missed one yet.
oh, I'm waiting for it. I feel like you've come close a few times.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we're good. I
Okay.
got this good hour set.
The hour to set aside, we're booked on the
I got the
calendar.
hours set. I was sick that one week, and the other, I don't know. I think I can't imagine what would have to go down. We got one kid sick too, so
I always tell, like, whenever I'm like talking to people at work or anything like that, I'm just like, yeah. So when a meteor hits the Earth and I miss this thing, this is what we'll do. So it obviously has to be a meteor. That's
or
what I'm
or
pitching.
my thing is a zombie apocalypse.
Okay. All right.
That's what I always bring up. It's always that zombie apocalypse.
I mean,
It's a
cordyceps.
fungal. Hey, did you? There's an article out there about some fungal thing going around.
Yeah, but
Kind of
they
like in The Last of Us.
they did that last time too. Remember when The Walking Dead first came out and it was huge?
Ah,
Yeah, the CDC was like zombie apocalypse, what to do? And it was actually just like, yeah, well, like it's probably not likely, so just have like a go kit ready for like first aid and stuff.
zombies.
So
What would be this go kit for zombies? Can I Google that real quick?
no, I think it was just first aid is what they were recommending, but I would assume a go kit for zombies would also just be first aid.
Here's
Um,
survival kit for zombie apocalypse. Holy crap!
is that from the CDC?
Oh, Amazon has a bunch of stuff.
Oh God,
eBay.
I can't even
Yeah,
imagine what Amazon would sell.
this is like legit.
What would
It's all
Amazon sell?
survival stuff. There's a lot of Etsy has a lot of stuff. Let's see Etsy. Zombie soap.
Zombie soap. It's
It's
fantastic.
ridiculous. Man, people are creative. Like people, I love people, man. They're so creative.
So, I mean, what would be in your go kit?
Like Etsy has literally like a hand survival hatchet axe. It's like a blade from a saw on like a metal rod,
But
selling for $40.
what would you use that for? Are you gonna live in the woods?
I guess you're attacking a zombie and hitting it. I mean, that's too much blood around. I wouldn't do that. That's too dirty.
Fun fact.
Oh,
Well, I don't know
I
if
do
it's a
like the tough
fact,
stuff.
but I read the zombie survival guide when I was a kid, middle school or high school, or whatever, during that whole phase, and it taught me that blunt weapons are the way to go because like piercing, slashing, all that stuff is like it's not really that effective. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like cool in the movies because it's like blood and effects or whatever, but like
Well,
blunt weapons just get the job done, and then you can also use it to tackle zombies and like keep them at like arm's reach and the logistics side of it, the nerdy shit basically, or sorry, you know, the nerdy stuff.
have you
Uh,
ever read Max Brooks books?
is that
He's the
the
dude
World
that
War
wrote
Z?
World War Z. Great
Yeah, I
book.
have. I loved World War Z. I thought it was really good. Did he? I think
But
he
he
also
has a
wrote the Zombie Survival Guide.
yeah. That's why I'm bringing that up
Yeah,
because yeah,
yeah.
the Zombie Survival Guide is that book, and that was a good book. It's good, like it's legit, like a
Yeah,
survival
that's
guide.
the
Like,
thing is
oh,
like they treat it pretty well. Honestly, when I was reading World War Z, like I know it's fiction now, obviously, but when I was reading it back then, like there's some stories where they kind of pass it off as like pretty believable, for like the origin stories and stuff like that. And I had
yeah,
only read those articles online, so I thought they were real. I was like, oh shit.
yo, this
So
is legit right here. I'm gonna post it in the actual chat for all our millions of listeners. Ooh, I
beautiful.
can't. It's too big of a link. This thing's
Unlucky.
perfect. This is literally a survival kit on Amazon. It's got a knife. It's got a light. It's got a spoon, but it's also a knife. Like a. It's all metal. They've got
It's a spife.
definitely a shovel that's got like blades on it, which is freaking cool. That would be in my top. Is definitely a shovel.
See, I
And
don't
then it's
know.
got like a first aid kit. It's got a little knife set, tape, duct tape. You definitely need duct tape. It's always in every game. There's always
Oh
duct
well,
tape.
I mean, duct tape's just is just God tier.
I don't know what it is about duct tape. It's like every zombie game. It's always duct tape
I
and then
would
a bunch of rope.
want I would want probably like a first aid kit, which is pretty simple. You can just have one strapped on you, and they can be pretty in depth. And then I would want bleach, so I could purify water, and
Yes,
then
definitely a water purifier.
yeah, and then like I would want like fire starters, and then after like if I had those things, the rest I can kind of figure out. I'm pretty sure.
Speaking of that, I actually watched Castaway this weekend. Like I watched like 90% of it. It's actually a really good movie. Like the fact that I got Kara to kind of like focus on it for like 30 minutes, even when she started it with like, "What are you watching? Like, why are you watching this?" And I was like, "It's a perfect nap movie, you know, because it's like 3 hours long." It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
really good. It was really good. Like it was. I don't. I of course it's Tom Hanks like during his era of like all his movies are good, so I'm like I knew it was gonna be good, but it was actually like it caught my attention the whole time. And it got me pissed off too, like when he kept doing dumb stuff. I'm like, God,
See,
like
I
you
love
can't do
movies
that.
that do that, where they
You
like
can't do that.
drive you nuts.
Yeah, and then it
Yeah.
worked out.
So, all right. Well,
I don't know. He was
what's
on the
our
island
warm
for
up, by the
5 years.
way?
He was on the island for 5 years before he like finally got off.
Wait,
So yeah,
really?
you want to segue with that?
Oh, I was thinking, yeah, but wait, he was on the island for 5 years.
Yeah, he was on the island for 5 years, and
See,
then
I've
got
never
finally.
actually seen the movie because I'm a terrible Castaway gamer.
Well, he like makes a boat. He gives up after 5 years because I guess he finds something where he can basically make a sail. Because the problem is he couldn't get over the wave, the top wave, to make it
Hmm.
into the ocean so he could sail away. And then he found like it was like a porta potty, a broken porta potty, and made a sail out of it, and then jumped the last wave, and then was able to make it.
Oh
So
man, spoilers for
yeah, oh yeah, I didn't even.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
God,
yeah, man, come on. Movie's been
we're
out only for
we're
20, 30 years, man. Come on, what are
gonna
you
get
doing?
canceled now. Yeah.
Gosh, unbelievable. All right, so what's the warm up? What are we?
Yeah, good warm up time. So we'll do one. I asked the team this today. I asked a couple questions. So we'll do kid fruit snack. So you remember when you're growing up, one of the coolest things about growing up is you get the fruit snacks, right?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Keep
You're
going.
on an island. You're on an island whole year. You've got all your basic necessities, your needs met. You get one fruit snack that you get one a day, and it replenishes every day. What would that one fruit snack be?
All right, I have. It doesn't change my answer. I'm mainly just curious, but do gushers count as a fruit snack?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was
Yeah,
actually
they
one
do.
of my.
Okay.
It's in my list of like five.
No. The Scooby Doo snacks. The one where it was like, oh man, I don't know if, gosh, this was when I was in like first grade, but they had the Scooby Doo snacks, and it was like Scooby was blue. It was like a bright blue. I remember that, but I love orange gummies, so I would
Oh,
always like trade away. Everybody wanted the Scooby because everybody liked blue, but I was like, this tastes like nothing, right? Because I was a connoisseur, so I traded all my Scoobies for Velmas on the playground, which were orange.
huh. I don't remember. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Scooby. I see it. Have I said yet on today's episode how Bing sucks? Like, have I said that yet?
I don't think so, but we are not
Okay, I just want to
sponsored
make it
by Bing.
clear.
We will never be sponsored by
We
Bing.
bring it up on every episode because like I'm searching it on there and it's awful. At least
But you know what we
Google has
are
like
going to
real results.
advocate for, which is GameFly. It's a worst Game Pass, but that's fine
Yeah,
because you pay more
don't get me
for it.
started on GameFly.
GameFly.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh
Uh,
god.
not sponsored by GameFly. I'm trying to find like good. Man, even this sucks. Do they not have like? I'm gonna Google '90s because I'm old. '90s kid fruit snacks. So is that your final answer, the Scooby
Oh,
Doo?
dude, yeah, without a doubt.
Oh man, these look
Without a
good.
doubt, man.
Oh, there's definitely more choices here. Oh, string thing. I remember that. Shark
Uh,
bites. Oh, shark bites. Yes, shark
no,
bites.
shark bites suck, man. Come
Those
on.
are because they taste so fake and like so
It
bad.
tastes like plaster.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about it.
Oh my god, you're weird. That's like saying you like. Well, actually, no. This would be something you like. What are they called? The circus peanuts or whatever.
Circus peanuts.
Yeah, is that what they're called? That
Like the
really
almonds.
terrible candy.
I don't know. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm actually gonna go with you. I'm gonna
I
go with.
can't Google it because I set up the stream in a weird way, so I can't like use a different thing. Let me pull it up on my phone. I'm
I'm
like
going with
pretty sure it's
Scooby-Doo.
called circus peanuts, and they literally taste like sawdust. They're the worst thing in the world.
Circus peanuts.
Pretty sure that's what
Oh,
they're
that's a real
called.
thing. It's a real thing. Oh, yeah, those are awful. Yeah, no. One, I don't think I've ever had one of those because
Oh yeah, yeah, that's exactly what they're
it
called.
feels
Okay.
weird in your hand, the texture of it.
That is 100% a you candy though. 100%. It's like that and like I can't even think of like an almond joy. That's just you as a
That's
person.
what you think of me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all
I'm
right.
actually
People
gonna go
think
Scooby Doo.
milk dud is me. It's fine.
Really, milk duds?
I'm a milk dud. That's what I've been described as.
Uh, you're definitely a dud, yeah. I mean, shoot, you just called me the circus peanuts guy.
You are the circus peanuts guy.
Man, they got some weird pictures on here. They sell a mascot costume for $400
All right, so we're investing in that. Are we gonna each wear circus peanuts costumes on the next stream?
for $400. Yeah, I'm gonna write that off. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your gummy?
No, I'm actually gonna go with you. I'm going with the Scooby Doo.
I'm telling you, they're
It's a
based. They're
good go-to.
insane.
It's a good go-to. Yeah. Because like I don't want gushers. It's weird. Fruit roll-up's gonna be messy with the sand.
The thing I hate about Gushers is that if there's any heat, like in a cooled lunchbox,
Oh,
fantastic,
that's
great
true too.
snack, right?
No.
Great close second. You expose it to heat for more than a minute, it's like they just melt and they get stuck together. Like, I remember again going back to kids on the playground, they used to ball them up and then like add more to it and try to like stick the whole thing in their mouth, and it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. And then like
All right. Well,
sand.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. All right, Scooby Doo's based. That's what we learned today. Scooby Doo's the absolute hands down best fruit snack. It's the first time we've agreed too.
Yeah. That's easy. I think that's a clear one.
Yeah, yeah, it's a clear winner. So, all right, well, do you want to start segueing into video games? Because I've got a great topic. Very
Yeah, let's do
passionate.
it.
All
Let's
right,
go.
so
It's Zelda, right? You're starting with Zelda.
no, no. Wait, did Zelda come out?
Well, no, but they had the gameplay trailer today for the
Oh, it
new
came
one.
out today.
Yeah, yeah. I watched it actually before this episode just so I could
Oh,
purposely talk about it.
okay, well, hold on. You got to talk about that first.
I spent 5 minutes about it. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, because did you ever play Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, if you watch the gameplay, like if you watch it on your phone right now, you're literally gonna think it's Breath of the Wild.
I can see that. They probably
And
use the same engine.
honestly, I haven't seen any like reactions yet. Like, I haven't listened to anything or like read anything. So this is completely like me just watching it 20 minutes ago. But it is like it's like a replica. And what's crazy is that came out years ago, right? Like 4 or 5 years ago,
Does
and
it
it's the
give
exact.
And my question is like for the setting or for whatever, like obviously it's probably gonna be in the same place ish or maybe the same aesthetic, which makes sense. Like they did with Ocarina and the Majora's Mask in a way, and whatever. Like they kind of do that with all their games. But is this like following the events? Like, do we
Yeah,
know
that's actually a good question too. I'm also kind of curious if it's like 60 frames or 30 frames.
if it's Switch? It's probably 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking it's still 30, which sucks.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe like isn't the OLED technically better?
I've seen it. It's pretty. Have you seen it in Target? Because it's actually it
Yeah,
looks really good. Like if I didn't have a Switch and I was buying one, I would 100% buy it.
yeah. A
Like
buddy
50
of
bucks
mine
more.
had one and brought it to a shop I was at, and then we were looking at it, and it's like night and day. It's kind of like holding a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy Advance next to the Game Boy Advance SP. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever had that
Yeah.
experience. It's like almost the same
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, no. But it has like I was hoping that they wouldn't have the weapon system that like the stuff broke. And it looks like it does because like there was like something that said something's breaking or like the stick is breaking. So that kind of pisses me off. And it just makes me want to play Breath of the like if I'm gonna do anything, I'm just gonna play Breath of the Wild because I've never gotten past like 8 hours, so which I've done like four
Yeah,
times.
I'm wondering what they bring to it to make it different, right? Or if it's
It's a
just
lot
a
of air stuff, right?
yeah. I don't know. What would it? I mean, you beat Ganon, so like it can't be after. Well, I guess it can't be after. We technically beat Ganon every time, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious too, like what they could. I think it's gonna be the same. It's probably gonna do well. It's probably gonna score well. They'll probably sell a ton. Just like, I actually met a kid at soccer practice the other day. Like an 8-year-old just started talking, and he's like, "You ever play Zelda before?" And he's like doing all this stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "The game's coming out." I'm like, "You getting it?" He's like, "Yeah." He was like talking about it, really excited. But he beat the other one, the old one. He was showing it, like telling me about it. So
Let
he's
me
excited.
ask
The
you a
kids are
very
excited.
important question.
Yeah.
Did you plug the podcast to this minor child?
I should have grabbed his phone and just subscribed real quick.
You should have.
Oh, so-
I'm beyond disappointed.
Yeah, that's hey, I'm
God,
new at this. Plus,
it's
me
fine. It's
being a
fine.
week off, it kind of threw me
Well,
off a
that
little
is
bit.
true. That is true. That is true.
So it's actually your fault.
It is 100%. Otherwise, we would have brainwashed that child into watching
Or I
us.
would have went to jail. So I thank you actually
Can
for
you?
grabbing the
I
kid's
guess yeah.
phone.
You would be stealing property at that point.
Like, who
So
is this guy?
yeah. Why is
He
this
gets
guy
kicked out
grabbing
of
my
there.
kid's phone? What is going on? Is he putting a number in there?
Like, is
God,
this
that's
an adult show? But yeah, it looks. I mean, basically, my overview of it is it's a. I don't know. It just seems like Breath of the Wild Part 2, which is what it is,
I mean,
right?
it's not like a
So
bad thing. It's just
yeah,
not.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I'm not gonna be
I'm
running
not
out of the
happy.
gate
I'm not
for it.
buying it. I'm not buying it right off the bat. That's for sure. Because
Yeah.
again, if I'm gonna do it, it actually might make me play Breath of the Wild again. I will say that. Like when people start talking about it and stuff, it becomes like when it comes out, I'll probably go back to Breath of the Wild. I could definitely see me doing that.
So I mean, I can kind of
Especially
already guess based on like what you're saying about Breath of the Wild, but like I'm assuming you don't feel great about games that are sequels that are really just like 1.5 of the original game.
well, what's interesting, so I was playing God of War. So like I did play a couple games over the last 2 weeks and I was playing God of War. I think I started it the last time we talked. Or I was about to. I think it was like on, but I beat it. I've actually beat it. So I played the whole game, beat it. Freaking cool. And what's interesting, every time I hear about people talking about God of War, they always say the first one, 2018 one, is better. And I'm gonna call people out on that because I think this other one was so much better. Like it was like one, I actually beat it. So that shows something. Like I took the effort to like keep going. And like the flow of it just felt so much better. Like, because part one, it was like you're on this like island and that's your hub and you have to go around the island. This one didn't feel like I had a hub. It felt like, I mean, I did technically, but it just felt like a big land. And it was like I wanted to just explore everything. Like I even told myself, hey, I'm just gonna play the story just so I can beat it. And I actually didn't. I ended up like I didn't like I'm probably like 80% of it. Like I played most of the side missions and it's just a phenomenal, like phenomenal. Like the story's good, it's not great, but the graphics are great. The gameplay is just phenomenal. Like I could battle. It had a good pacing too, where like you'd have battles for 10, 15 minutes, then you'd have some story for 5 minutes, then you'd have you're exploring for 10 minutes, and then you have battle. Like it was a perfect pacing. If I defined it as anything, it would be perfect pacing, which is something I'm not used to with games where it just flowed really well.
Yeah.
Great game. Great game. Way better than 2018.
So you brought up something too that I want to say this just to say it really. But a story doesn't need to be good to be captivating.
Yeah.
Everybody's always obsessed with like, oh my god, like we need like a Last of Us level story, or, you know, like there needs to be twists and turns and all these things, like writers in the writer room, right? They're like it needs to be like six, you know, levels deep and like, you know, it rewards exploration. Like it doesn't have to be that. It can just be a game that you sit down, you play, get you from point A to point B, and it does in a fun, interesting way. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah,
you
for
need
sure.
sometimes.
And it does have a story. Like it was Odin and like it's got his son and his son's like trying to go the other side, the bad side and the good side. And it's like that kind of classic story, but it was definitely I like that. Like it was captivating. It was something I think I said it in the last like I just wanted to keep playing. I couldn't put it down type of thing. Now it doesn't have the catch. Like I've been playing Monster Train again a lot lately on this because I'm waiting for my. We'll talk about GameFly in a little bit.
Oh
But
yeah,
like
of course, of course.
I'm waiting for my next disc, and it's been about a week now. But I started playing Monster Train again, and that's one where I cannot put it down. Like it is 2:30 in the morning, and I'm just saying, hey, one more run, and I can't stop. I bought the DLC too, which actually I would not recommend the DLC, even on sale on Steam. It's like $5. I wouldn't recommend it just because there's not enough. It's just one clan, like there's not enough to it. But the game's great. I also learned about daily challenges. I started trying that too, where it has like different challenges you can do every day, kind of keep you in the mix. So I'm addicted. Clearly, it
You're
makes me want to
one
play
step
Civ Player.
away. You're one step away from just being in the card game community and just playing card games with me, and it's just
I
one
would be
step away.
interested on playing it online. I don't know if there's multiplayer. I know there's leaderboards and there's scores, but
Games like that typically no.
yeah, I don't know
So
why you couldn't. It's not a real. Well, I guess yeah, you couldn't monster train, but you might be able to slay. Yeah, I guess you can't really.
No, I mean you could do like parallel runs, like fake multiplayer, but that would be like playing Pokemon, like racing
Yeah,
with
no,
friends in
I
the
think
Elite
that'd be a
Four.
great idea if they came up with a version of it where you could play somebody else. There's got to be a way to do that. You each have different same decks or something too, or
You're describing a genre of game that's within the deck building genre, where it's just a deck building battler. I think there's a ton of like tabletop game versions of it. I think there's one on Steam too. I think it's Ascension is the one on Steam, but like there's like DC Deck Builder and all that stuff where like you literally do what's happening in Slay the Spire or in Monster Train. You're just doing that against other people over the course of multiple rounds. But actually, you bring up a good point. Why is that not being tapped into?
I don't know. I feel like that'd be a great idea. Like, I mean, I guess they have like the Witcher game. I mean, is that computer? Like you're playing somebody else,
Kind of. I mean,
or what's the other one? What's the big one? The Blizzard one?
Hearthstone.
No, the really big one. The yeah, Hearthstone. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you play somebody else in Hearthstone,
yeah, yeah. But
so maybe
that's
I need to
like
try that.
it's different though because like that's. I mean, I guess it's technically a deck builder, but like it's not RNG for the cards that you're putting into your deck. It's RNG based on the cards you draw. So it like takes away a level of it, which shifts the
Oh,
dynamic.
yeah, I like that. I like the randomness of the cards and like how you can build a like. There's
Yeah.
actually a what's it called? Like, there's a strategy behind it for sure, and it's completely
Oh yeah,
random
yeah, yeah.
too.
There's
I love that.
so in like Magic the Gathering, like a lot of these games, even Hearthstone has it. Like they have what's called like a limited format, where it is similar to that. Like in Magic, what happens? You could do this on table or you could do it online, where you like open a pack, you look through the pack, right, and you have 8 people on a table. You look through the pack, you pick the card you want out of that pack, then you hand it over to the person to the left, and everybody hands it over to the person to the left, right? Then you go and you pick
Okay.
a pack, and then you do that over and over. So it exists, but I guess I'm just more so curious. Like we don't see that as just like a standalone game. We don't like Ascension would be a perfect example if you ever look at Ascension maybe after this. But it's kind of like you play around and then you get to pick a card or 2 cards out of your deck or and add a card to your deck and like do all these other things, and then it ends up towards the end of the game being this crazy like, oh, your turn's going nuts and you're doing like a bunch of different things and yada yada yada, and it's really cool. I would like to see that as like an actual standalone game.
Yeah, I gotta try this. I'm googling it like games like Hearthstone, but yeah, I even Google like multiplayer, and there's not a whole lot that's coming up. Magic's on here. Slay the
Yeah.
Spire isn't counting what we're talking about. Legends of Runeterra.
Legend of Runeterra used to have it. They don't like the multiplayer aspect. They don't have it anymore. They do have a single player experience only though, which is kind of cool. And then they also have like the pre-built decks that you can compete with other people, which is like the other layer of it. So
They have Elder Scrolls Legends. I never played that.
I played it once because I had to
Not good.
download it for linking my account to the launcher that no longer exists with Bethesda. I don't know. It was weird. They were like, yeah, you got to download this game. And I was like, all right, I know what you guys are doing. It's to boost your downloads on your dead game. But that's fine. Whatever. No big deal.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it's
guess
not dead. I don't know. I'm not involved
it
in that
says it's
community.
dead. It says it like they haven't updated or something.
Yeah. So I
They
have
got
no idea.
Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel, Shadowverse.
Shadowverse is fun. I've played
It's,
all the
it's,
card
it's,
games,
cool.
man. I literally, what I've been doing recently
It's free.
is there's a old card game called Duel Masters. I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but basically
Yeah.
it's a Japanese client and there's a translator that you install and then it translates all the Japanese over to English so you can actually play the game, and it comes over as funky translations. Like for example, like a Beast Folk comes over as Beast Forks, and like stuff like this. It's funky, but it's fun. But the card game is actually functional because it's just the Japanese game. So um, any of the card games, I'm your man. I got you.
Now I'm adding Ferrar Feria.
Oh, Feria is cool.
I'm adding that because that looks kind of cool. Man,
Yeah,
game's
you would like
good.
Feria. Feria is different. It's not like a. It's more like a tabletop card game. It's kind of weird. Like you have to like place lands and stuff to like move spaces. It's very interesting. It's very weird.
What about Eternal?
Eternal. I don't
Oh,
think
it's
I've
not on here
played
though. It says
Eternal.
PC.
It's probably like its own thing.
I just tried the one. Or let me do Magic too. Let me look at that.
No, download Legends of Runeterra.
Is that on Steam?
No, but it's its own thing.
Oh,
Well, Magic's its own thing too. I don't think it's on Steam. So
all right, well, I got that at least.
yeah.
But
Rune-
yeah, I would love to play if I could play either Slay the Spire or Monster Train with somebody else, even if they were good. I feel like it would be fun. I could definitely see that. Like, or like you're the bad guy, you're the other side, and you determine like which guys are going or like where. Oh, I think that's a cool idea.
Ooh, that would be really cool. It's like
Even make it,
I'm the dungeon boss, and then you're the
yeah.
player, and then you have to navigate the dungeon I make. So, have you ever heard of Meet Your Maker?
It's a new game, right?
So yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not-
So I was in the closed alpha test. They had watermarks all over the screen. You're like not allowed to record or like disclose a whole lot of info. I had to sign an NDA. But I think that's opened up now. If it didn't, whatever. I guess I'll just get yelled at. But basically, the way it works is like you have to make a base, right, and protect what's called your core or your heart, or I don't really know. But you make a base and you have to protect like this thing, right? This like reactor thing. Your opponent is coming in to invade the base, so you can either design the base or invade bases. And it's kind of cool. And then you like put your base up after you design it to be rated. Really fun game, really cool concept. I really liked it. It's not a card game, but that's kind of in that
Yeah.
vein. I want to see more games like that, to be honest, where it's a little bit more like strategic, but also like blends genres. Have you ever played anything along those lines?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of. I know we've talked about it in the past too, like all these different kind of games they have.
Yeah,
Nothing I can think of.
I think
I don't know.
we're gonna see a bunch of like crazy games come out this year too. This kind of segues into the topic I'm really excited about.
Yeah, here you go. You talking about
Yeah,
the Unity stuff and all that?
yeah, I want to talk about like Unreal Engine, Unity, like all those like game engines now. If we look at like modding, I don't even know, like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, right? Modding was like a really good way for people to entry into game development, because they could just kind of like jump in. They don't have to know a whole lot. They maybe have to like look up some lines of code just to kind of figure out how like some things work. But a lot of it's modifying values. A lot of it's creating your own, um, model or whatever the case is, right? But we've been seeing less and less modding throughout the years, right? Like I could probably ask you, what is the game in the last since 2020, right, that you've played that had modding support and an active, thriving mod community? And if you're lucky, you can maybe name 5, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So like I can name,
Skyrim for sure.
but that's not even like a game that came out in 2020 or after, right? So it's just like
Oh,
that kind
okay,
of
I
got like
see.
legacied in. So like the whole point that I'm making is that, and we've talked about it before, but I think Unreal Engine 5 specifically, like it does a little bit more of a better job than Unity. Unity's like catching up, but they literally just replace the modding aspect of that because they make it so easy to just jump in and make a game, right? If I were to go and mod something, it's probably going to take about 15, 20 hours to figure everything out, right, for that game. If I go and I jump into Unity, or if I go and jump into Unreal, it's probably going to take me 15, 20 hours to kind of figure out whatever aspect of that game I'm trying to recreate, especially if assets are available. Um, so we've been seeing like these crazy, crazy games come out. There's a game I've been playing that kind of inspired this whole speech. It's called Spaceborne 2. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
All right. So we talked about Star Citizen, I think, on the last episode, maybe the episode before that.
You
The
said
game
Spaceborne?
Spaceborne, yeah. Think like Jason Bourne, but
Oh, I thought you were saying
Spaceborne.
Spaceborne. I'm like, what? Spaceborne?
Oh yeah, yeah. Spaceborne.
Yeah.
Adventures of the Lady, Part 2.
That poor kid, man. That poor kid. I hacked his phone to listen
Yeah,
to this
yeah.
episode.
So, oh man, we just lost our one viewer. Crazy.
I know. I'm definitely getting in trouble now.
Yeah, yeah. So Spaceborne,
This looks cool.
Bourne. And it's
Is
kind of
this a mod?
no, that's a full blown game. It's made in
Uh,
Unreal. I believe it's made in Unreal. It could be made in Unity. I have no idea. I think it's Unreal. Actually, I know it's Unreal because of some of the technology they use, and I can recognize some of the assets. But what's really cool about that game is it's about the same scale as Star Citizen, which is a very ambitious game. It's a multiplayer game, so there's a lot more goes into Star Citizen, and like they have some more ambitious technologies, but the concept is the same. Where I go in, I can fly a ship, exit the ship, and then shoot my gun all seamlessly, essentially, right?
Okay.
This game does that as well. And
They
this
have like different planets that you can go to.
yeah, different planets, space stations. There's different guilds. Like I joined like a mercenary guild and like a bounty hunter guild. I had to like
Are you actually flying to the planet, kind of like No Man's Sky, or is it more like you're clicking like
it's
map?
a lot like No Man's Sky. Now
Okay.
there is clicking aspects of it, where you have to like if you want to like set a route, then you like click and then you calibrate and then you charge up your engines and then you go. So it's kind of like a mix between No Man's Sky and just like fast travel, but it still feels organic, right? It's a
Dude, and
little
it says
repetitive.
one guy made this.
That's my whole point on this. Yeah. So
That's
all
crazy.
of that and one guy made this game by himself, right? And
I like this review. It's when I hear that games like this are made by one person, I can't help but reflect on my own life and feel a little sad inside.
yeah, right? It's like, man, this guy's got it's crazy. I'm just I don't know, man. It just makes me so excited for the future because I think
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. And I had a call for work and I was talking to somebody, and it was funny because it was a work Zoom call with a company we're trying to get or like talk to, and they saw the podcast thing and we started talking about podcasts, and we started talking about AI, and I was just so excited about like the future of AI, and it kind of goes back to what you're saying. AI on top of what you're saying. Like imagine that, right? So I want to build a space game. I can type in, build a space background or something that looks like Star Citizen. Like how cool. Oh man,
well, that's the
like
thing too, is like
so
we
exciting.
have that technology implementing in already. I forget
Right.
specifically what it's called, but Epic Studios, they released this thing called I think it's literally just called like Real People or something, or like I think it's called Real People. Um, but it's this technology that lets you like mass fill people into spaces. So like you can like there's famous, infamous, whatever city demo where they have the Matrix city demo that was all over the news a couple years ago. Um,
Okay.
that's the technology they used where
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
the one they had on PlayStation.
where it's like modular. There's a bunch of people wearing
Yeah.
clothing. Like normally you would have to like build like maybe 5, 10, 20 assets and then like kind of like sprinkle them in or maybe batch them in as like a spawning process. But with this technology, you can make them modular and swap like little details. So now you have hundreds of occurrences or even thousands of occurrences, depending how detailed you want to be, before you see a duplicate, right? Like maybe you'll see two people really close, but you won't see a duplicate, which is really, really cool. So, this guy uses that technology, uses like AI voice technology, and it's just don't get me wrong, the AI voices suck, but it's still really cool that he now doesn't have to, like one guy doesn't have to invest literal hundreds of thousands, millions of
Yeah.
dollars into
I
just
love it.
voice acting work, or
And like
time.
have those connections or go on different websites to find it and trust that they're going to do the right thing, and then all that time, yeah, not just money, but the time it takes to do all that stuff too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The problem now, and this is maybe a whole new problem. It doesn't actually solve an existing problem. Is that crunch cultures, and video gaming is always going to be, or not always, hopefully, but it is currently a thing, and this doesn't
Which is
help
hilarious.
that.
Which is hilarious because I bet you this guy had crunch culture.
That's my thing. Yeah. This guy probably
Yeah,
worked
one
his
guy
butt
doing it.
off and
Yeah,
was up every night and was like, I'm
yeah,
just gonna make this game. This is my dream game. Like you can tell there's a lot of passion in it, right? Like the
right.
dude's, kicking butt. Um, but I also think that we're kind of past this time, or maybe we're integrating more into this time where like if you want to join the industry, if you want to do all these things, like it is quite literally just show up, prove yourself, and I promise you, like that guy, like he just brings the fact that he made a game
Yeah,
with that many downloads, and he can just go anywhere, right? He can just
yeah,
do whatever he wants. Maybe not as like the highest role, but he could break into the industry at a pretty good level, right?
yep.
I don't know. It's just fascinating to me because I love indie games. I think we both do. There's one
Yep.
game that I'm excited coming out that also uses the technology, or two games actually. One is like it's kind of a parody on capitalism, so like it'll probably make some people really happy that it's making fun of capitals. It'll probably make some people really sad that it's making fun of capitals, whatever. But the idea is that like you no longer have money, and then you get booted into the lower class, so you have to figure out a way to like grind and sell everything, and then like market and all that stuff. So I think that game's gonna be pretty cool. And there's another one where it's literally just like a player run economy, which is also gonna be really neat. It's gonna be like a full MMO using Unreal, and it's gonna be a player run economy. So just really cool, ambitious projects that you feel like you hear around the playground that never could have happened before because no studio would invest in it. Now it's just like maybe
Yep.
five guys get together and make it happen. It's just cool.
No, and to look like that, that's pretty cool, right? Like to have
Yeah.
graphics like that, which you don't even need. You could still make a great game and it'd be smaller, right? And it could still, millions.
Yeah, no, literally. A famous or one of the more popular like textures and model packs used is like the Synthy pack or Synthi or whatever, where it's like those basic polygon ones.
Yeah.
I've been seeing those a lot everywhere, but it's just cool. Like, there's just a lot of I don't know. Is there anything that like you see going on with all of that industry part of it? I'm not using my words
Well,
very
I've
well.
noticed on Reddit there seem to be stuff already made for Unity. I haven't tested it yet, but there seem to be plugins where it's the chat bot and all that kind of stuff where you can say, hey, put in cube objects and it puts it in there, which I'm super excited. I was thinking pretty hard about this the other day, and I was thinking I think the next part of it really is going to be like how do we weed out the bad games, right? So I think that's a problem. I think that's consistent on every medium right now, right? So we even have Twitch or even our podcast, right? Like how do I find this podcast by searching video games? There's thousands of podcasts out there. How do we, without spending money, right? Like, how do we get up there? And I honestly think that that's a part in the market that I think is going to get answered eventually, where there's going to have to be some sort of review system, like something that maybe works like Reddit, where you upvote or I don't know what I don't. It's probably beyond what we even think of because something's got to do a better job than what's happening now. Like, um, because I think there's going to be so much good content, like this game, right? Like, how does this game become, like, how did you become aware of it? How do you share that with other people? And think of all the stuff that they have on Steam, right? There's these thousands of games, and there's algorithms and all that fun stuff. But how do you avoid the computer algorithms into that, where it becomes a human element of us like determining what's best? Or I'm just very curious on, or maybe it is an algorithm. I don't know, but I'm super curious on how they because there's going to be it's going to be easier for the normal person to make it. And how do you make it stand out among the other games? Because I'm sure there's plenty of games that or plenty of podcasts, plenty of video stuff I would love to see that I just don't see because of the freaking algorithm or because it's being controlled. So
I
I'm
think
waiting for that to be decentralized and for that to be like like just on a capitalism more like a. I'm just very excited to see the future of it for sure.
I mean, more games is always good. Well, maybe not always good, but it's gonna feel good, especially if we're getting like quality games. Like, I mean, these games rival, if not surpass, the level that studios were at like 15 years ago, which really isn't that long of a time. And I'm being generous with the 15 years. That's like what Xbox 360 era. So yeah, I mean,
Mm.
it surpasses a lot of that level. Um, but I think like Steam, for example, like their system is like 70% of the way there because they do have like those, the human review element. They have a lot of the tag element, and it treats it almost kind of like YouTube, where it's like, yeah, I'm looking at a lot of these things, so I'm gonna recommend like, you're looking at a lot of RTSs. Here's an RTS you may like because it's also sci-fi, and you play a lot of sci-fi games. There you go, man. I
Yeah,
think it's like 70% of the way there, but like that only the problem is what you said, right? If there's no traction or visibility to it, you're not you're
like
not
think
going to
of
be
all
able
the
to be
games we're
privy to
missing
that.
out. Like think of all the games and maybe not now, but like what you're saying, if this one guy can create this, how many other guys are creating something like this that we just aren't aware of, right? And like, will we ever be like that? I mean, it's gonna happen, right? That has to happen. It's not that it can't. And there's no mediums like I'm kind of curious if maybe like magazines and or like not magazines, but like Games Radar and Game Informer and all that stuff, that they're going to focus more on the smaller titles, and that'll become a bigger part of it. I'm very curious to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of. I mean, we see a lot of it now, but I think we're gonna see even more like influencer marketing.
Yep.
I mean, you're
It
probably
all.
familiar with this individual, Video Game Donkey.
I don't. Was it on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, he's like a big video gamer guy. Makes a lot of comedy videos, that kind of stuff. He started on League of Legends, went on for League of Legends, now just kind of does whatever he wants. You should look at his stuff; it's pretty good. It's kind of got like a chaotic energy to him. He's cool.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, yeah. So he actually announced he's going to do his own publishing, his own video game publishing, and he created a whole video kind of breaking it down, and it caused a lot of controversy because it's like, well, what do you know about video game publishing? You're just an influencer. You're just a guy on YouTube, right? But I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I think we're going to see a lot
Absolutely.
more influencer publishing of titles, especially indie titles, just because they can. I mean, it's like any other influencer marketing, right? They can just give that right to their base, and they have credibility established. They don't have to worry about anything else.
Yep.
So I think that'll be a huge part of it too. Maybe that is the remaining 30%.
Yeah.
But then now you have the other problem, which is the problem everywhere. What happens if you don't have a lot of capital?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I'm super. I think it's gonna be a lot niche based too, right? And I think there's going to be everybody's scared about losing jobs and stuff because all this stuff, but I think there's going to be even more influencers than there are now. And I
Oh
think you're going to
yeah,
have the same thing where you're going to have, like, again, all you need is 1,000 people watching your show, right? Like, if they all give it $2 a month, $5 a month, you can easily pay for what you're trying to do, especially if you're getting free stuff for advertising and stuff in addition to that. Like, you don't need a lot of people with, six, seven, and with it being worldwide, right? You don't even need it to be people local to you. So I'm man, like I wish I was a kid. Even though I can do this stuff, if I made time, but like I wish I had the time that I had as a kid in the summer, especially to create content. Because I think this is it. This is the time, man.
yeah. I don't know if it's like this now. It's probably community to community, school to school. But when I was a kid, I was playing Minecraft and I was like recording and like the videos were not good, whatever. It was just a kid playing Minecraft, right? But like I remember there was a lot of like bullying around it. Obviously a lot of it comes from jealousy, but I'm wondering if kids have to deal with that now that it's so popular. If a kid now is like, hey, I want to play video games, put it on YouTube. I wonder if they're getting ostracized for it or if they're getting promoted for it.
I think they're getting promoted
You think
based
so?
on. I think it might be different when you get to high school level, but I think on the middle school level, they're definitely getting promoted. I can tell you that just from my kids. But they're only playing 3 games, right? So they're playing Fortnite, Minecraft, and Roblox. That's literally it.
Yeah.
And outside of that, even high schoolers are playing something like that. But I think there is a transition from those games to Call of Duty, NBA 2K3, 23. And I think that's the weird part about like you could get bullied and you could have all this negative stuff that could be from it for sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that transition, it's like what age do you transition from a kid game in quotes to an adult game? I could see that causing conflict in high school, like if I was a kid or something in high school for sure.
Yeah. Nori's or my fiance's little cousin, we call him Baby Nick because the dad's name is Nick. So we call him Baby Nick, but he was like, well, I'm making this Roblox game and all that stuff, and like, yeah, the best advice I can give to any kid out there ever is if you're making games, you're making it on Roblox. Stop making it on Roblox for the love of God. Just download Unreal Engine or download Unity or download a game engine or mod or something. Just
I
don't
don't know,
let
bro. I just bought a
Roblox.
$10 Robux card the other day for me because I had
Oh
to get a game.
man,
I had to get Bloxburg.
it's okay. I've done it too. I was playing.
Yeah, hey, have you heard about the Fortnite stuff? I know you're talking about this. Are
No,
you
no,
transitioning to that?
no, no. Go ahead.
Oh, I assume you're talking about that. So there was who does it? Epic. So basically, they have a new Fortnite creation mode. So going exactly what you're talking about, where you can create Fortnite levels, games, anything, like basically anything in that. I haven't tested it. I haven't
Oh,
tried it
they're
out. I'm
making it a
assuming
Roblox competitor.
Exactly. That's 100% it. And that's how it's been kind of
Oh,
worded. It's a Roblox competitor within the engine of Fortnite, which is beautiful, right?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't know
I
the
mean, it's
level of
Unreal Engine,
degree,
so it's yeah, it makes
right? And
perfect
I don't
sense.
I don't know the degree of like how much you can create. Like, could I make a tower defense game using these assets? I'm assuming you can. I'm assuming it's that developed. But they even pay out, I think it was like 40% or something of the earnings. So it's even greater than most other places, which is, again, gets me excited of the future. Because like, Epic, they don't care about money, right? So it's like they're
Well,
willing to give more share
40% is
to the
very
user.
low. That's beyond low.
40%.
Yeah, that's really low.
Oh, my understanding is it's super high. Like whatever
They're
it is, it's
giving
like
out
super.
40% or they're taking 40%.
I think it was. Hold on.
If they're giving 40%, that's really bad. If they're taking 40%, that's better. But for reference, Steam is considered
I think we
aggressive and
talked
they
about
take
this last.
30%. But Steam has a lot of marketing benefits added in. So like they can charge it as a service and not just a hosting platform.
Yeah, so I guess it says before it was 5%. Oh, that's their creator code. So basically using a creator code, I can get 5%.
Now it's probably
Yeah, I don't
better than
know.
it was. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like it was probably like, hey, before it's 5%, and now it's changed to 40%. It's gotten people excited. But if you go from really bad to just bad, you know, awareness and that kind of stuff. But it's exciting nonetheless because I mean, more kids getting involved into like development and design, even if it's just to like flex the artistic muscles, is always a good thing.
I don't know. This looks freaking cool. Now I'm looking at it. I mean, it's basically, I mean, Unreal 5 looks pretty cool, right? I don't know. I'll
Unreal
have to look
5 is
into this.
amazing.
I haven't like read anything. I've just listened to it in podcasts, but just the idea of creating a Roblox within Fortnite seems pretty cool. And regardless of the money, like it's still cool for a kid. Like if you could just build something and you're making something from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then like you said, like you make something big and famous, now you have a stepping stone into a bigger company, or other opportunities by meeting other people, I'm sure.
I think there's I think there's like kind of like three different people when it comes to game development. You have like the people that are like the code monkeys, right? They just want to get in, they just want to like give it a list of tasks and they just want to make it work, right? Those are more of your 9 to 5 kind of people. I think you have the other people that are just like that want to make a game. They don't really know what
And
goes
it's
into
crazy
it.
that there's 9 to 5 people. Like that's the crazy thing that I read these things in Reddit where it's like there's people that make games that don't play games.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think. I think
It's
that a
just
lot of them
crazy.
just look at it as a job, and I mean to be fair, it is right. Like,
It is, yeah.
I mean, and a lot of what those developers do, like if you go and work for like Rockstar Games, like you're just working in code stack all day. It's like,
Right. It's not as
whatever.
cool.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't.
You're like designing the UI or like you're making a trash bag. It's like
Yeah.
cool, whatever. Like I know a guy that literally made like 4 trash bags and just like did level design for all the trash bags on the map. And he's
So how
like, I
cool is
put
that?
that there, and I'm like, that's cool, man. I really don't care.
So how
Um,
cool would it be to have an AI like the Chat GPT in Blender, and you basically type in, and I'm sure I don't know if they have this or they're going to. They're going to for sure. You type in, I want a trash bag that looks like the trash bag in John Wick, and it just like, oh
oh, and then it
God,
3D creates it for
yes,
you. Yeah,
that's the
I
future
think
as well. Think about that.
I would
Oh,
love to get to the point where 3D modeling is fully AI
oh,
because I hate 3D modeling. My
yeah,
goodness, I hate it. Oh
facts.
gosh.
Facts. I mean, all the modeling sucks because it's just effort, like it's time, right? It's all time. So imagine if you can cut that time by like 90%. Like think of that's what my concern is. I think the future 10 years from now, you're gonna have way too many games,
But that's
and it's
I'm
clearing out.
excited for that over too few games.
I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think 2019, maybe not 2019. I don't know. I'm probably pulling this out of my butt, but I feel like there was a year recently, like within the last 5 years, where we were just starved on any type of game. That was like good. Like we had like the benchmark releases, right, where it was like the next Call of Duty or like the next NBA, but I don't think we had like anything like good. Which I feel like is pretty rare in the space, but the more saturated we make it, the less we have that experience, or the less we have those
Yeah.
thoughts.
I mean, this year's like that so far, right?
I don't think so. I think this year's been
I mean,
great.
Really? 3 months into it?
Yeah. We had
Like
like
big
what
stuff?
Dead Space, which was huge.
Yeah, but not
Um,
like big, big.
I think the biggest part is we have a lot of innovative indie releases coming out this year, like a lot. Um, let me. I can even
Yeah,
pull
I'm
up.
looking at the list right now, and it's like, okay, Diablo 4, which we haven't talked about yet. Legend of Zelda, which it's the same thing. Dead Island 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, again, same thing. Resident Evil 4, same thing. I don't know. I feel
Oh,
like this year is going to be kind of weak. Starfield will be cool if it comes out. Final Fantasy 16 will be
I
cool if
think
it comes out.
Starfield to come out. There's too much pressure to not.
Yeah.
And Bethesda is the kind of company that doesn't care about the release date of their game. We're gonna see Elden Ring DLC probably this year. Hi-Fi Rush. I don't know if we've talked about that a whole lot. I think that
Yeah.
game
But
is
again, that's not like,
fantastic. That game
yeah,
is amazing. We haven't had a game like that in a minute.
I have to play it.
So we also saw.
I guess if the new Spider-Man comes out, but even that, it's part two. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, again, part two. Like, I don't know.
We had Hogwarts Legacy, which was like objectively a good game.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
I'd add that in there.
yeah, yeah. And then we also had Sons of the Forest. This has been a great year.
Which
We're
I
in
haven't heard
March.
about. By the way, I haven't heard anything about that, like on anything I've listened to, and I also don't see it in Steam like popping up. So I don't know. Did it do well?
I mean, sales, yes. Is
Uh,
it relevant? No.
yeah, I'm assuming that first weekend it probably did really well, and then after that, it just probably dropped
Yeah.
completely.
It had a lot of earned marketing, and then I think they paid up for a lot of like affiliate stuff, like influencer stuff. And then the problem is like the game itself is fun. The technology is clearly where they put all the money. Because like the graphics, like we discussed, are like really high. But I played the game for like 10, 12 hours, and I didn't feel like there was a whole lot there. I'll be
Yeah,
honest. So, um, could be wrong. We did a couple dungeons or caves or whatever they're called. It was like, okay, there's clearly like some type of strung together story, but like it, even though it is an indie game, it's coming off of the thrones of a very successful indie game, and you usually have to do a lot with that to succeed. Like you almost have to like flip it on its head. Like you can't just like have just a survival game, right? Which they kind of started to do and started to not do. I don't know. I have a lot of critiques for it, but
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think this year is gonna be kind of weak.
that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
Have
I
you
feel like
played
we have
Diablo 4?
insane
Did you play
releases.
the beta?
No, I did not. I've never played Diablo, which I got
Oh,
a
really?
lot of flame for.
Huh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I played. I
I
have
want to play
three.
two.
You played two?
No, I want to play two.
Oh, I played. I mean, I have three. I'm kind of thinking about going back. I was gonna see it. I'll Google it now. I was curious if it was 60 frames on PlayStation.
Probably
'Cause I might
right.
play three. I've never played it. I mean, I played it like once and I stopped.
The thing again, this could be wrong, but what I've heard about Diablo 2 in particular is that the necromancy in that game is really good, and like I really like necromancy in games and like summoning minions and stuff and like those types of games, which a lot of games don't do very well. The best game that's ever done it for me was a game called Gudonia, which I promise you you've never heard of.
You don't.
Yeah,
No.
it's it's a little rough around the edges, but it does necromancy perfectly in my opinion. So, um,
Yeah, I might play this Diablo 3 because it says it's on PlayStation. It's 60 frames, 4K. I
tell you
might
what,
try
you
it.
play three and I'll play two, and then we can figure out
I
which
like
one's
this.
better.
We can come back. Yeah, I'll definitely
Yeah,
come back. I'm actually gonna pop that in tonight.
because they remastered two, I believe. I believe it's on
Yeah,
BattleNet.
I've heard about that too. Yeah, I think they did remaster it recently.
Um,
But I'm gonna play that. I mean, I'm kind of like I don't know. I'm not a huge like Diablo kind of person. It just seems a little like it'd get old real quick. Like just having it
yeah,
flashy.
I don't like grinding item sets.
Yeah, that doesn't sound interesting as well too. Like all the time and having to change outfit. Like that's why I would say the one thing I didn't like about Division 2 is just the number of in Borderlands is the same kind of thing. It's just you get so many upgrades all the time that it gets annoying as hell.
Well, don't get me wrong. I think loot is really cool and fun. I think meaningless loot is repetitive.
Yeah.
But some people love meaningless loot, man. Like
I,
it makes their brain just go into overdrive.
but give me a game like Elden Ring, like you know how like
Oh
heavy you get?
yes.
So
Sorry,
mix
I just love
that with
Elden
like
Ring.
a Borderlands or or to that level of exploring, but you're shooting, or like Division 2, but like, hey, you find this secret item in this secret spot, and now you have this one item that nobody else has. Like that's the stuff I like because you have that exploration part of it, and you're like,
You
oh
just
shoot.
described Fallout 3.
Right. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what I loved about RPGs growing up too. That's what I loved about it. Like you'd always, you have the black screen around it in the RPG, and you go on the black screen, and now you're in a cave, and you walk, and all it is black, and then you get to a separate section of the cave, and it's like I love that stuff that like you can only find by trial and error and just kind of luck.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. It's like when I was playing Fallout 3 when I was a kid, right? And like I went into some town, I think it was a slaver town, and I saw on the table a pool cue, but it had a name, and that's when it all started for me. Because collecting unique items in games, like unique weapons,
yeah,
dude, in a game like that, it was over. I went on a quest and I have my book, don't get me wrong, but I refused to use the book for anything unless I couldn't figure it out. So I had to use it for the Juan Long assault rifle. But everything else I found on my own, and I was losing my mind if I couldn't figure it out. I want those experiences, which I
yeah, I
think
can
is
see
what you're
that.
saying.
Yeah, I'm all aboard. And you make the exploration of Elden Ring, mix it with one of those, yeah, Fallout. Oh,
Gosh, can we just get Elden Ring but with guns?
I I love it. You could do a lot of different Elden Rings, honestly, different types of stuff just like that. I'd be down.
Yeah, I would love. I mean, I don't know. When are we getting? Are we ever getting like a Fallout 5?
I don't think they've said. I think the next,
It's
actually, you'll probably
probably
get Skyrim.
Starfield. No,
I
you
think
know what it is?
I could see Skyrim
No,
come
we're
out
not going
before
to get
Fallout.
Fallout 5 for 10 years. 10 years
Yeah,
minimum. Because we have announced before Starfield was ever announced was Elder Scrolls 6. And we still don't have Elder Scrolls 6. So that
yeah,
means that we're going to get
that's what I'm saying.
Starfield, then Elder Scrolls 6 in like
Yeah.
14 years, and then in 35 years we'll get Fallout 5. By then my kids will be, putting me in the ground. So,
I think they'll get older. The other cool part about this whole AI stuff is like the idea of quest generation too, or random placement. We didn't talk like applying what we just talked about to the AI stuff, right? Where it can randomize stuff. Like I can't even go to a game FAQ to figure out where this item is because it's random, right? And now you add a level of randomness that's not. I don't know. Again, I'm just super excited about the future.
I think that's a really good point because I mean, this is very much an effect with video games. Whereas I played the game, and what made Elden Ring so exciting was I played it on release, and I played it with friends, and we were all discovering everything at the same time,
Yeah, that was the coolest part about
right?
it. Yep.
And then you couldn't just go online and figure stuff out. You had to figure it out, or you could figure out stuff at the very beginning online, which is like tutorial level stuff, and it doesn't actually matter. So when somebody
Yep.
discovered something new, it was meaningful. I think with what you're saying with the AI, we could kind of bring that sense of wonder back. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember reading a Game Informer article. I think when I was in middle school, and it was talking about how Legend of Zelda. He went and like would go to school every day, talk about their discoveries with the game. One kid eventually figured out that you could like torch the bushes, um, and you can find items that way. And like he was talking about that experience, and it's like ever since then I've been like, you know, I've had that experience maybe a handful of times. I would love to be able to have that more.
Yeah. I'm
So
excited.
yeah, oh man, that's gonna be so cool.
All right, so we got a couple more minutes. What are you playing? What are you playing right now?
Spaceborne 2. I've been playing a lot of that. That game is super fun. I've been playing that Duel Masters Japanese game. That's been pretty fun. And then let me see what else. I mean, I've been playing Elden Ring. I just love that game. Um, and then a bit of like an indie game that I've been playing. It's called Surround Dead. Uh, Very very cool game. It's a zombie survival game. It's single player only. It's made in Unreal Engine using the basic polygon pack stuff. But it's a really, really, really good zombie
That's
survival
on
game.
my wish list.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really good. I have about 20 hours into that. So,
Yeah, that
and I
looks
think it's
cool.
like $15. The developer's like super invested. He's putting out patches like every month, and like updates and like, he does like community polling. Honestly, the developer's a good dude,
Yeah, this
or
is
girl. I
cool.
have no idea, but
Yeah, this is cool.
yeah, I recommend it. It's super fun. So,
Yeah, I'm waiting for Resident Evil the 4 remake. So I should be getting that from GameFly probably next month. So I'll when I get that, that's my next game. So I'm super excited about that. And then I'm just kind of playing little games here and there until I get there.
okay,
But I did play Devil in Me. That was that. Remember we were talking about Until Dawn.
yeah, yeah.
That it was I beat it. It was cool, cool experience. You could beat it in one night kind of thing, like in a well not one night, maybe 2 nights. And it was good. It wasn't Until Dawn, but it was definitely up there in the top three of games in that genre for sure. It was good. It was definitely one I'd recommend. On cheap like $10 or something.
Right.
Um, but I've actually beat. I mean, that's crazy. I beat like 2 games in the last or 3 games in the last like 2 months, which is pretty awesome because I don't do that normally. So
Have you played Hi-Fi Rush? I know you were
I haven't, and I actually just
dunking
got rid
on
of
it
Game
earlier.
Pass. I just got rid of Game Pass too.
No,
I know.
dude,
I thought
it's
about it. I think
so
I'm gonna get it
good.
again. There's something coming out, Redfall. I think when Redfall comes out, I might get it again.
What's Redfall?
It's like shoot, it's a vampire shooting. It's like Borderlands, I think. No, it's I don't know if it's Borderlands or like BioShock or something like that.
Ooh,
But
I would I
it's
would
vampire.
love another BioShock type game.
Yeah. Well, that's what whatchamacallit, Atomic Heart is supposed to be like that.
Yeah, but Atomic Heart didn't like scratch any type of,
Yeah. It's on my
anything.
list.
Well, tell you what, Atomic Heart definitely scratched something, but it's something that would not be great to talk about on stream. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of excited now about Diablo 3, so I'm kind of curious on how that plays out.
oh,
So we'll see.
Redfall is co-op.
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right, so you're just gonna play this without me. That's cool, I guess. That's fine. No big deal. I'll
Yeah,
just
I'll
I'll
definitely play
cry
it. Like,
myself to sleep. It's fine.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't really have. I'm still kind of like looking for deals. I was pretty close to buying Midnight Suns because I really want to play that. I've been
I've
wanting to
been
play for a while.
seeing clips of that online nonstop recently. The game looks really cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
think I
definitely
just
my kind of. It's a card game, right? Plus my favorite guys. Like, that's awesome.
um oh, did you ever play Sifu?
I did. I played like maybe 2 hours of it and I stopped. It was too hard or
That game
something
is
happened.
super hard, but I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
I can't do hard games. I'm
I
too
boot it
baby.
up like once or twice a week and I get absolutely blasted. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine. And then I just get humbled a little bit. It's good for the ego.
It's definitely a cool game. If you like those games, definitely I would recommend it for sure because it was cool. And I like he ages or something. I think I remember that.
Every time you die, you age.
Yeah, I think that's freaking cool. That's
What's
so clever.
really, really cool is that whenever you age, it affects your health versus your damage. So like it's an inverse relationship. So like
I love that.
when you go
That's
up, your damage goes up, but your health goes down, like your
that's
max
that
health.
clever stuff.
So I always thought that was really cool. So like in theory, the game actually gets harder every time you die, but then you also have a max age, and then you just die when you hit the
Yeah,
max age. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but all right. Well, I mean,
Cool.
I think that's it. Unless you have any closing remarks here.
No, I gotta go. And definitely seeing John Wick 4 this weekend. So I'm super excited.
Does it come out this weekend? I'm so out
It
of
came out
touch.
last weekend and I had to miss it because of our situation, like a bunch of kids and shit. But this
Yeah.
weekend,
So, all right. Well, enjoy that, and I'll catch you next week on the pod, my man.
awesome, man.